you've just said two things that begs that has I would say it fraught some kind of complexity when we're talking about legality. You've spoken about allegiance, and you've also mentioned about your support or explanation to back any movement that has to do with your rational thinking. Now, I took out time to read the case or the indictment that has been filed against these individuals from Cho Ayaba to Benedict and to Pascal. And there's something that I picked in some of the platforms which I like to read for you to consider as you respond to this. Now, the question of whether a U.S. citizen or a resident should participate by any shape or form to foreign conflicts. I understand that you are legally not just legally resident, you are a United States citizen and also an Ambazonian by origin. Now they said for that to happen in foreign conflict, it touches upon broader theme in the United States foreign policy, including neutrality, human rights, and interventionism. The United States has historically grappled with balancing its strategic interests with its commitment to promoting democracy and human rights abroad. This is quite complex. I know for the past 2, 3 years, your government has been arguing the involvement of the United States in Ukraine and in other parts of the world, and their probable disinclination in Amazonia. So this is an argument that I think is important when you're talking about allegiance and the participation of the government in exile at the home front. Now, the Neutrality Act of the 1930s, for example, reflected a desire to avoid entanglement in foreign conflicts, while subsequent policies have embraced a more international approach in certain circumstances. The decision to provide support to individuals in Ambazonia, in the southern Cameroons, must be viewed through the lens of this competing consideration. And this is where I'm bringing this question to you, Mr. President. I decided to bring these words the way they are because these are legal arguments that will require a lot of diligence for us to 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 navigate our course and explain it in a way that can help even the people that will be looking at this and feeling discouraged to understand the levels at which they can participate and the consequences of their participation. Please talk to us.
So what is the question?
The question is, what is the legality in our participation considering this law of the United States? That the United States
Yes.
prohibits,
So you see,
yeah,
you see, it is the United States will prosecute anyone. There are two levels of prosecution. There are some of the issues. Well, first of all, when it comes to the issues like this one, like foreign involvement, it's
yeah,
political and then it is legal. It becomes legal when the judiciary gets involved.
yeah,
So before the judiciary can change their laws concerning any matter, the political must go ahead to redefine the cause, the particular cause. What do I mean?
yeah,
Like in the days of South Africa, for the judiciary to be able to interpret the law in a way that members of the ANC should be called terrorists, the political wing, the executive, or the Congress had to declare ANC a terrorist organization. They are the lawmakers, right? So when they designated ANC a, a terrorist organization, now the judiciary now can interpret that law to the fullest and and enforce that law on whoever. So it's both a political, then it can also be a judicial thing. But where there is no political determination, the judiciary stays the course on its own jurisprudence. That's why many people who have been accused or indicted go to court, and the court said, "Go away, you have not committed a crime," because the court will interpret the existing law, not the future law. They will interpret the existing law and the jurisprudence on that in that area and make a determination. So as far as we are concerned right now, there can be some political strings that are pulled around here and there for certain people to be arrested. It could be. I'm not saying there is. I don't think so. But even if that were the case, it is not the politicians that enforce the law. It is the judiciary. In a country where the judiciary is free and independent, they will interpret the law that exists, not the law that is hoped for, not the future law, not the intention. So if there is any intention to prosecute a particular group of people, the political leadership will first of all make sure that they appropriately designate those people as terrorists. They proscribe all their activities as acts of criminality. And then, when a person is found doing that, the judiciary now can make a law. They could at least, there should be the law goes first before prosecution. So, it is a political determination for America to feel too concerned in a particular conflict on one side or the other. It's a political determination. That's not a judicial thing. It's not a judicial thing. There are people who have gone left here, they have gone to Ukraine and they are fighting. It's a political determination. The law of neutrality and so whatever you call it, the political are making their determination. But if somebody has a problem now out of that arrangement and that matter gets to court, the court will not adjudicate that matter based on political determination. They will follow existing law. They will follow existing law. And so the problem is that who will bring the matter up? Most of the time it's the political wing that executive that will bring the matter and forward it to the executive so that to the judiciary so they can look into it, because they cannot make a decision. So we are in a situation where the law, that's why we are making sure that we abide by the law. And no matter what political wave it blows against us to toss us left or right, we are protected by the law, because the law is not interpreted by politicians, it's interpreted by lawyers. Those are the ones who interpret law. Now, by the laws of the United States, we have the freedom. It is a cardinal provision of the American Constitution, of the Second Amendment, self-defense. So they go very far, they go very deep in it, to say that you have a right to this right, and even to defend that right. Yes. And also, you should even defend a third party who is in a situation of imminent danger and cannot defend himself, and you have the capacity to defend that person. You have to. If you don't defend that person, and the circumstances are revealed, you can be sued for, you can be taken for complicity. If you are in a position to help that child, you have the capacity to help that individual to stop that, and you
And
did
you
not
do.
stop it. So you are not just it's not the right just for you that you can. That's why they keep on preaching that the good guy with a gun is the answer for the bad guy with a gun. Not that the good guy is even involved in the shooting. He's not involved. He just happened to have a gun and he's a good guy. And he sees one person destroying, he has to use it. So that's the law in the United States. Freedom of expression is so powerful here that you can even the people who have pronounced death on the president and so on, nobody has been prosecuted. But you know what? There is a difference between freedom of expression and you giving orders for certain things to be done. Because here's the thing: in this freedom that we enjoy, if you are going to be prosecuted, you are not going to be prosecuted for expressing your mind or your frustration. No. But if you are planning, organizing, giving orders and taking feedback, giving directives, and for criminal action to be carried out, forget about your whatever you call political rights and my right for this thing. You are out of the goal. If you are like some of those people you say they have taken their computers, they see in their computer how they tell the person who took away the prince of Kugwe, they say you have caught him, so take his neck, cut his neck, make sure you put it in a pole, take it for that junction, so go pin him for it. You will say that is freedom of speech. Or the people who gave the order when those people in Goguza were arrested, they have been taken, their computers were taken for months and they were studying them to get all this evidence. If it is found, I'm not alleging that it was found. If it is found, the audio way was giving clear instructions to the person that make sure say that for them, you take them go for that market square, you should for they go shoot them, may they see 'em. Now you do that, then you come back and say, oh, it's Ambazonian struggle. Is that the struggle that you want the law to defend you for? So that is the line. We are making sure that the people can only exercise self-defense. Yes, we don't care. I know that some crazies in the political circles can go awry, can go out of the way to try to do something, but the last defense line we have is the law, the court of law. And as long as we are acting within the law, because we are not ordering crimes. I have not ordered any criminal action. There's nobody in my government who is ordering crimes to be committed, who is receiving money from Regina Mundi and coming out and saying in the this that I took her and we took the money. We took 80 million. My only regret is that I allowed her to go. Next time I will take the money and still kill her. You call that the Ambazonian struggle, that we are struggling, we want to be free. That's not freedom. That's not a struggle.
And Mr. President, because of that, there is no doubt that the Cameroon government is pushing so hard to have the rhetoric and the narrative or the labeling of our movement as a terrorist movement, because that changes the trajectory. Meaning, any sympathizer of a terrorist movement is viewed by the free world as a terrorist. Now,
They,
are
they,
you
they
worried
are,
at any point?
I'm
Some
not
of these
worried.
individuals reject themselves.
I'm not worried.
Uh,
You know,
okay,
you
when
can
okay, you're not
deceive.
worried.
It is as easy to deceive strangers than to deceive the owners of the house. You know, the owners of this struggle are on the ground. They are on the ground. They are living this war 24/7. Those are the owners of this struggle. You cannot deceive them. They know. They know the difference. They know who is fighting for them and who is not fighting for them. So they know it. But these people who are out here, who are not even your people, who are just your neighbors because you find yourself in a foreign country, you don't expect them to know. So those are the people that the Republic is trying to convince. But when you see a man, fire is burning in his house, he's instead going to the farm. That man has surrendered because the fire is burning in Ambazonian. The Republic is struggling to talk to convince international community that don't mind them. That don't mind them. They are all criminal. They are not. They don't have any political cause. They are just criminal organizations. You can convince as many foreigners as you want to convince. The only thing you will remain with is a sore that will not be healed. That sore will kill you. So we are here to make sure that we counter such moves. That's what we do. And those people who don't see the need for diplomacy, they are all ignorant or saboteurs. Because we are here to counter those kind of moves. Because as far as the people on the ground are concerned, you are not confused. We don't do these things much to convince you because you live it, you know. They know the difference. In some villages, you go there, they will tell you that those ones up there are criminal, they do for that side. Now, this one, they so that they will correct people. They know. They live it every day. They know who are fighting for them and who are not fighting for them. And so when the Republic is trying to make those maneuvers out there, tell you what, who is going to answer them? It's not General Plantain, it's not General Coconut, it's we here who have to make sure that the truth is known and we insist on what is true and make sure that the lies are exposed and make sure that the international community will also hear our own version and know the truth and not lies. So the truth is that we are doing our best and we will continue to do our best. They have not succeeded this far because if they did, you and I will not even have a television. Yes.
Yeah.
If they succeeded, you and I will not have an organization. We cannot even meet on any day of the week. We cannot even do anything. Our course will be completely by now in the image of the ADF and the way they decided to reconstruct our course. We would have been completely abandoned and probably proscribed by now. But we have made sure that we drew the line at every stage. When things happen, we write press releases to make clear our position. Because in a social media revolution, there are many voices. And there's a lot of noise. There are very few voices. So if the voices are silent, the noise will take over. We make sure that when all happens, all is done, everything should not be attributed to the government of the people of Southern Cameroon. They should be able to hear clearly what the government says and where the government stands. Because that is the voice that matters. You don't tell me that Ambazonians have said that. In those days, 10 activists will go online, everybody will say his own, then at the end, anybody will go and pick any activist of his choice. He said, Ambazonians have said that. Is that the kind of struggle? That's cacophony. There must be a voice that says, this is what Ambazonia says and this is where we stand. That's the voice of the government.